Hi, I'm Debbie the Wine Lady, and today we're doing, I think it's number 4 in my series called Wine Survival Training. Okay, today we're talking about wine and food pairing, which is something that there's way too much trepidation about out there. It's really not difficult. It doesn't have to be complicated. I think it's because there's been too many articles written by wine geeks and sommeliers about just the perfect pairing of some obscure food with some obscure wine, but it's really pretty simple. I'm going to start off by giving you 2 general guidelines that I use and then some tips on specific kinds of foods and wines. Okay, here we go. The first thing is that you need to match the wine with the dominant flavor in your dish. Now that sounds like a duh statement, but think about it. Someone says to me, what wine do I put with chicken? I say, I don't know. How are you cooking the chicken? The dominant flavor of that dish is going to be whatever sauce you put with the chicken. If it's a Parmesan tomato sauce on your chicken, I'm going to be doing a red wine, something like maybe Spanish or Italian or, a California red of some sort. But if you're doing that chicken, say with a lemon butter sauce, like a Greek lemon chicken, I'm going to be putting it with a Sauvignon Blanc, a Greek dry white wine, something like that. So it's the dominant flavor of the dish that is what should call for that, for the particular kind of wine. Okay, so with chicken, I've got either a red wine or a white wine, depending on how I'm cooking it. The other general rule I use is to match the wine with the body of the food. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, I'm thinking about delicate flavors versus strong, bold, full-bodied flavors. A delicate flavor in a food would be something like a whitefish. Nice flaky whitefish, or say some kind of eggy, cheesy dish like a quiche, some kind of a vegetable thing. That to me calls for a more delicately flavored wine. It might be a dry Riesling. It might be, a Sauvignon Blanc or a Spanish white. It could even be a red if it's something that's not too strongly flavored. Many Pinot Noirs are fairly delicate in their flavor and could go with a delicate dish. However, if I'm cooking steak or lamb or osso buco or something with a lot of boldness and heaviness, that can stand up to a big, bold wine like Cabernet Sauvignon. Syrah. Syrah is a fabulous red wine to go with things like lamb, which is about one of the most strongly flavored foods out there. The gaminess in the Syrah and that kind of gaminess in the lamb go beautifully. But again, they're both full-bodied, strong flavors. Okay, strong with strong, delicate with delicate. Here's a few other hints that I follow. I mean, really, the rules, that's about it. I've told you just about everything there is in terms of my rules. But my hints are things like this. Remember that old red wine with meat, white wine with fish thing? Well, that seemed like just an arbitrary rule until I tasted white fish with a dry red wine. It was awful. The tannins in a dry red wine bring out that metallicness in the fish, make it taste really fishy and awful. That's why I don't do most red wines with fish. But Pinot Noir is an example of a red wine that doesn't have those kinds of tannins. In fact, nowadays, Pinot Noir and salmon, which is a fish, mind you, a red fish, that's a classic food and wine pairing. Okay, so red can sometimes go with the right kind of fish. Another hint I use is about sweetness in foods. Now, if you've ever had any kind of Asian, Pacific Rim kind of cooking, Chinese, whatever, the sauces almost always have some sugar in them. I've made the recipes, I know. And if you put a dry or a tannic wine with those sweet sauces, it just doesn't work on your palate. So I do some kind of a Riesling with those Asian dishes. It doesn't have to be real sweet, but it's got a little touch of sweetness to it. Gewürztraminer is another great choice for Pacific Rim kind of cooking. Gewürztraminers can be off-dry or a little bit sweeter, but you'll love it with the Asian food. Another thing is spicy food, Cajun, Szechuan. Anything with a lot of heat goes well with a little touch of sweetness or a little touch of spice in the wine. I've done a dry Riesling with Cajun food. I've even done a red Zinfandel with Cajun food, and that turned out surprisingly good. Okay, so there's a couple of general guidelines. I'm just going to finish off by saying that really matching food and wine is a lot of fun. If you cook with natural, fresh ingredients and use natural, well-made wines, you really can't go far wrong. Just experiment a little bit and let me know if you find any kind of really great pairing out there. Thanks, guys.